Hello and welcome back to another week of Open Mic Night. So glad you guys could join us this week. This week we are going to learn all about live streaming, whether you're live streaming a video game or live streaming a podcast, just like you guys are watching right now. That is what we're going to cover. You guys are going to learn the ins, the outs. It's going to be a good time, so stick around. Alrighty, so like I said, welcome back to another week of Open Mic Night. I am so glad that you guys have made it. If this is your first time watching this show, my name is Mike Weger, and I am the host here at Open Mic Night. Open Mic Night is all about Apple technology made simple for the everyday people. We cover the latest Apple news and give you the tips and tricks you need to make your Apple devices work for you. So I'm excited that you guys found the show. If you guys want any more information on the show, if this is your first time watching, OMNpodcast.com is where you can find all the information, all the subscription links, the video, contact me, everything you could ever want is over on the OMNpodcast.com webpage. So welcome to any of you guys who are new, and also welcome to anyone from Grafton, West Virginia. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to WLMN Radio in Grafton, West Virginia. So they stream me live on their website, as well as on the radio, on the FM radio side in Grafton, West Virginia. So a huge thank you to them. They've been a great sponsor of the show. They've helped me out. So if you're looking for any other sort of tech talk or fun things like that, definitely head and give WLMNradio.com a try. All right, so tonight, like I said, we are going to be talking all about live streaming. So whether you want to live stream a video game that you're playing or live stream a podcast just like I do, we are going to give you the ins and outs of all of that. We're going to cover it. We're going to give you everything that you guys need to know to have a successful live stream. But first, I kind of want to take, just like a quick few seconds here to talk about a survey that I'm doing real quick. So if you guys could and help me out, I have a listener survey. So I'm trying to get information from you guys, the listeners of Open Mic Night, so that I can kind of start to craft the show a little bit, make little tiny tweaks to make the changes that you guys want. I don't want to make any changes, that kind of throw off my audience. So omnpodcast.com/survey. So omnpodcast.com/survey is where you can go to find that. And if it takes like a minute tops. So if you guys could head over there and do that for me, that would be absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it'll just take a few minutes and that's all that it will take. And so that is just the first thing that I wanted to do. And real quick, 1 second here. All right. Sometimes, people need things out of the office when I'm podcasting, but we roll with it, right? Because it's just a podcast. So, all right. So, I'm getting a thing in the chat. No voice on the video. I hope my voice is coming out on the video. So this is another reason we try and do things beforehand over here. Okay, so let's test this out here. You're getting no audio. I don't know. I'm showing audio just fine, so I'm not sure why you're not getting any audio. My audio levels look all right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm showing audio going just fine over here, so hopefully you guys are getting audio. If not, you guys can always check out the version after the fact on omnpodcast.com. If you subscribe to the audio version in iTunes or anything like that, go ahead and head over there. So sorry about that, whoever you're on the chat room. Thank you for letting me know, though. But on my end, we look like our audio is all good to go. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to... Okay, so that was the survey. So we kind of got off track there for a little bit. But yeah, if you guys could go over to omnpodcast.com/survey and fill that out, that would be absolutely fantastic. I would love you guys for it. It's just a quick 2-minute survey to kind of get a feeling from you guys on some certain things about OMN Podcast. Okay, the next thing is if you guys want to write a review for Open Mic Night, I had one question on where the best place to write a review would be. iTunes is the best place for you guys to write a review. So if you like Open Mic Night and you want to write a quick review, omnpodcast.com/iTunes. Make it real easy for you guys. So if you go to omnpodcast.com/iTunes, that'll take you right to iTunes to my page, and you guys can write a review over there. And I really like it. Love you guys for any reviews that you guys seem to write. And the chat room says Spreaker has voice, so that's good. Yeah, Spreaker is good. So Spreaker is another option if you guys can't get video on the YouTube, but it shows that it is. So that's odd. These are really just struggles that you run through, especially when you're a solo podcaster. When you're a solo podcaster, you don't have anyone to kind of test with and stuff like that. So I did notice, though, now the radio program should be getting better audio. I had them on stereo, and I actually only send out mono to them. So there was a few settings I needed to switch, but that was to the radio station and not to YouTube. So I'm not sure why YouTube is not playing video or to audio. Hopefully that picks it up, and hopefully it is. So all right, so let's hop in and just start talking about the live streaming topic that we want to talk about tonight. So what got me thinking about the whole live topic issue is, number one, I live stream every Tuesday and Thursday night. So on Tuesdays for Open Mic Night and on Thursdays for Home Gadget Geeks. And there are a lot of people at school, my viewers, everyone is kind of interested in the whole live streaming. You know, back in the day, live streaming was reserved, it was only on TV or the radio, and it was kind of this thing that you couldn't do unless you're a professional. And so when live streaming started to become popular a few years ago, it became popular. But it's still one of those things that's kind of a mystery to a lot of people. And to be honest with you guys, just a year ago, it was a complete mystery to me. I had to do a lot of research in how to live stream, what services to use, what applications to use, what kind of quality can I get from a live stream. And so I had to do all that research about a year ago, because a year ago was when I started Open Mic Night. And when I started Open Mic Night, I don't know if you guys even know this, but it started out for me as wanting to do just a live Q&A session. So I wanted to hop on, do a live show, and have question and answer. But the problem you get to when you start doing a live stream is you need people. So starting a brand new show, you don't have a following. Getting people to watch live is always a challenge. So that's how Open Mic Night started. So when I was doing all that research for live streaming, I thought, man, I would love someday to teach my audience exactly how I do my live stream so that maybe they can go out and do a live stream as well. Because I love this. So the live streaming aspect of podcasting is one of my favorites. When I got into podcasting, I knew I wanted to stream live. That was kind of one of my things. I just knew I didn't want to just post the show out there and have people listen. After the fact, that's great, and I love it, but I wanted the live component for anyone that wanted to do that, because just for the reason tonight. So I hop on my show, and I'm streaming to YouTube, and someone in my chat room can tell me that something's going wrong. That's fantastic. You don't know how many times that I've had something go wrong in my audio and someone's been able to tell me, and it's been a quick switch on my side, and I was able to save the show. Otherwise, if it had been just me, I would have had to go in there and scrap the entire show and record again. So that's kind of why I love the live. People can get in, have a conversation with you. They can put in their 2 cents and stuff like that. So I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, but at any time, if you guys want to call into the show, if you guys have questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to call into the show at any time. You guys can always go over there and you guys can call in and talk to me. Just all I ask is that you guys keep it family friendly. But the number for that is area code 402-915-0790. So again, 402-915-0790. If you guys have any questions, comments at all, just call in at any time and interrupt me. I'd love it. I would love to hear from you guys. So if you guys are watching the video, that phone number will stay up on the screen. But if you guys are listening to audio, I'll kind of mention it maybe a few more times throughout the show. But again, 402-915-0790. That'll put you live onto Open Mic Night, and I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, so like I said, what got me started with live streaming, that was one big motivation for me to talk about live streaming one day on my podcast. But then these 2 apps came out within the last few weeks. It might have been a month. They've come out recently, and it made me want to talk about live streaming because these 2 apps, Meerkat and Periscope, came out for the iPhone, and they are all about live streaming. So all of a sudden, in the past month, there has been a huge interest in live streaming because these apps got extremely popular, and now we have celebrities, we have people like me, we have normal people, we have podcasters, tech people, normal everyday people, all live streaming their life on Periscope or Meerkat, and everyone else is able to watch them. And so now all of a sudden people are starting to realize that live streaming now is as simple as having one app on your phone and just hitting the live stream button, and all of a sudden you're going to have people watching you doing whatever you're doing at the time. So these two apps that came out, obviously I was like, okay, well, this is a perfect time to have a live streaming episode on Open Mic Night. So the first thing though, kind of as our news segment, is I kind of want to talk about these two apps. So Meerkat was the first one that came out on iOS, and it came out around the time of South by Southwest. So South by Southwest is happening, and Meerkat kind of gets popular right at that time. So South by Southwest, a big, music and tech and everything conference down the South. I've actually never been to it, so I don't know all the details. But South by Southwest is happening. Meerkat gets popular, and all of a sudden, we've got thousands of people using Meerkat at South by Southwest, and all of us on the outside that don't go to this are like, what is this Meerkat? What is live streaming? Why, what is this kind of video that's showing up in my Twitter stream? So originally with Meerkat was these videos would be live at the time, and then they would go away. So you couldn't see the video after it was done live, but it was a whole live streaming video service that was tightly integrated with Twitter. All right, so then Periscope comes along, and Periscope is almost the exact same thing. It's a different look to it. It's got a different design, but same sort of concept. You can click a button and live stream, and it goes out to all your followers on Periscope, and you can also post it to Twitter, and then people can chat with you while you are doing your live stream. So actually, just before this show, I was doing a live stream on Periscope, kind of giving my studio tour. And so if you guys want to follow me on Periscope, if you're just getting this app, head on over to Periscope, and you can follow me at Wirecast, because it uses Twitter. So Periscope and Twitter are tightly integrated. And you guys can watch, actually, one of my Periscopes I just did before the show. And I think I want to do some like Q&A or some sort of thing like that before each live show. So I think every Tuesday, maybe around like 6:30, I'll hop on Periscope, and like people can come in and ask questions if they want. Because I really like Periscope. I thought it's really good. So Periscope is now owned by Twitter, though. So Twitter bought Periscope, and I think this is huge for Twitter, because when you think about when Twitter first came out, what was it? It was kind of a live look into our lives. People could post text, 160 characters about what they're doing at that time. And then your Twitter feed shows what your friends are doing or thinking or reading, whatever they decide to post on Twitter. So obviously, then Twitter progressed to be able to share photos. So now we share photos on Twitter. Well, the next logical step was to be able to live stream, live video, and have it go straight to your Twitter. And I really like it. I think it's an interesting concept, and I think Twitter was definitely looking for someone to acquire to do this for them. So obviously, both Meerkat and Periscope are still extremely young. There's still a lot of problems with the apps. There's things that need to be fixed. But Twitter got in on the ground floor and grabbed Periscope. And Periscope now is actually, I believe it's almost as popular as Meerkat. Meerkat got a great start at South by Southwest. And I will admit that when I go to Meerkat, I do see a lot more users, a lot more people live streaming. But then on the Periscope side, Periscope is catching up. And I actually like the look and feel of the Periscope app a little bit better than Meerkat. People do complain on Periscope that when people are chatting with you while you're streaming, it's kind of covering up the video. But I don't mind that. Usually if I'm live streaming, what I'm showing isn't really that big of a deal. So for me, that hasn't been an issue. So these two apps come out, and they make live streaming extremely, extremely popular. But what I was surprised with was the popularity of the apps really only got around to the tech circle and to the celebrities. So I think Twitter approached a lot of celebrities. Twitter's kind of really pushing celebrities to start using Periscope in their everyday life, kind of live streaming, getting that engagement. And so that was actually the aspect of Periscope that I really liked. So there are a few podcasters that I listen to on a daily basis, and they joined Periscope. And now they can go on Periscope and they can kind of do a live stream of a totally different aspect of their life. So I'm very used to listening to their podcast, hearing them only talk about one sort of thing. But now that I follow them on Periscope, I kind of see them in their everyday life doing different things, not just sticking to their technology podcast that I normally listen to. So one of my favorite parts about live streaming, and especially these Periscope apps, is that it's giving us a whole different dimension. It kind of gives us a whole different look into people's lives than what we're used to seeing. I think we're kind of used to seeing that kind of polished life that people can post one photo or an edited video, but now we're just getting raw live video from people's lives. So I find it extremely, extremely interesting. So those two apps are free. They are in the Mac App Store. So they are only iOS right now. So both iOS and Meerkat are only iOS. They are coming to Android. Actually, Periscope just had one of their announcements that they're excited to come to Android, and that will be good for them. But as of right now, they are only on iOS. So if you have an iPhone, though, I would encourage you to go out and sign up for Periscope. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't live broadcast yourself, it's kind of interesting to go out there and watch some of these people just do these random live streams. There have been a few problems with spammers, so especially they do have a feature where you can tweet the link out to your Twitter stream. And I've noticed, and people have noticed, that when you do that, you do get a lot of, spammers that will come into your video and kind of just spam the comments or be inappropriate. That's one of the things that I've been disappointed with these apps, is that there's really no good way. You can block users, but there's no good way to really report someone and get them banned from the app. There's especially women, I think, on these apps are taken, a lot. The comments in their live streams are just not appropriate. They're harassing, they're degrading, they're really bad comments, and it's not on all of them. But on the more popular women Periscopers, there does seem to be a lot of inappropriate conduct going on in the comments. So one thing I want to see from Periscope and Meerkat is a better way. What I thought was, so this lady that I was watching on Periscope, she was trying to block people as fast as they can, but you have to pretty much catch them in the chat before it disappears and block them. So one thing I was thinking was, man, it would be great if the audience could actually go in and help the live streamer out. So if I'm doing a Periscope and there's someone in the comments being inappropriate, I might not be able to focus enough to block them. But if your audience, if other people that are watching the stream could go in there and help you kick them out, I think that'd be a great idea. So that's the only downside that I have found with Periscope and Meerkat so far, is really just how appropriate the comments are and stuff like that. So that is kind of the news. That is what spawned me wanting to teach you guys and talk to you guys about how to do a live stream. And the problem with it now, though, is back a year ago, there were really, and I guess 2 years ago to a year ago, there weren't many options when it came to just everyday general people doing a live stream. Live streaming cost a lot of money about a year ago. You usually had to pay quite a bit of money per month to be able to stream live to the internet. There were a few free options out there, but a lot of them limited the amount of time you could live stream or limited the quality. If you couldn't do high def, you could only do standard. So there were a lot of limitations about a year ago. Now, YouTube came in and kind of shook up this market a few years ago when they offered their live streaming service. So a few years ago when YouTube started offering live, they offer it for free. And so tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the different options you have, but mainly I'm going to stick with what I do. So I'm going to show you guys how I live stream and then maybe tell you guys about some of the differing options that you guys have out there. But I'm going to walk you through mine because I think that my live streaming solution is by far the most economical, simple, easy way to live stream yourself in high definition to an audience. So I'm going to teach you guys that way, and then I'll mention some other ways you can do it. So first off, when you want to live stream, you need a live streaming platform. So as you guys know, if you guys are watching this video or if you're watching after the fact or listening afterwards, I stream live. When I do live, I stream live to YouTube. So YouTube is the way that my video gets out to everyone. So they are my content distributor. So they are who I'm streaming to. Now, I also use Spreaker. Spreaker is a way that I can live stream my audio. So some of you guys I know in the chat tonight actually mentioned that since my YouTube isn't playing audio for some reason, you guys hopped over to my Spreaker. So that streams my live audio. So there's a few different options, but for video, which is what most people want to live stream, is video, not just audio these days, I stick to YouTube. Now, there are other options. There's Ustream, there's Twitch for video games, there's like Live TV, live.tv or something like that. There's a lot of other options, but YouTube is by far, I think, the best option because of the pricing. It is absolutely free to use. Now, the one catch about using YouTube to live stream is that you do need to have a YouTube account and you do need to have at least 100 subscribers. Now, I know that sounds a lot, but usually you can get up to 100 subscribers pretty quick if you start posting just a few videos out there. So maybe start out not doing live, just recording your video of whatever you want to live stream and posting it, getting more people to watch it, getting more subscribers. But once you do get those 100 subscribers, you will be able to live stream your video for free. And you can do it for however long you want. And you can do it in whatever quality you want. So right now, I stream in 720p, mainly just because for me, 1080p isn't that much of a difference, I don't think, and it helps with my bandwidth. Since I stream to Spreaker, the radio station, and I do YouTube, I like to conserve bandwidth as much as possible. So I do just kick it down to 720, and that is what I stream with. But technically, I could stream right now for as long as I want. All right, and someone in the chat room is saying no audio at all right now. You guys cannot hear me. And see, I am showing okay audio. Okay, now Spreaker did show that it might have frozen up. So that's interesting. All right, so I'm going to take a little second here and see what's going on with Spreaker. All right, so it looks like my Spreaker actually just quit on me. So Safari on my laptop just froze down. So if you guys are having trouble watching the live show tonight, I'm really sorry. And what a fitting problem to have while I'm talking to you guys about live streaming. And you guys can see some of just the pains you can go through with live streaming. Sometimes things just go down and you can't get it to work. So I'm sorry for you guys who are listening to live. If you are, here, I'll type in the chat real quick. Sorry, if you guys can hear me on YouTube, we're having some trouble with some of the audio listeners, so I'm trying to fix that real quick. Should be real quick. I'm just typing a note to him real quick. Okay, PTD says I can hear you just fine. Good. So some of you guys are hearing me. If you guys did switch over to Spreaker, I can tell now definitely did freeze up on me. So head on over and go up. If you're on omnpodcast.com/live, scroll up to the YouTube video and try playing that again. And just make sure the video is not muted or your computer is not muted. And try that out again. All right, so sorry about that, guys. This, like I said, this is the joys of live streaming. You have to sometimes put out some fires during the middle of the show, but you can always edit after the fact. And people watching live understand, right? All you guys in the chat room understand. All right, so there was another question in the chat room. You can live stream on YouTube with less than 100 subscribers. Okay, good. Okay, so PTD in the chat room is saying that you can do it actually with less than 100 now. That is good to hear. I guess I didn't check the current requirements on YouTube. When I joined last year, I had to wait because I did not have 100 subscribers. I remember having to wait, and as soon as I hit 100, YouTube gave me the option to stream live. So that's good to hear that you can do it with less than 100 now. So YouTube, that even makes it even better. They have proven that. I think they are one of the best platforms to go ahead and live stream on. All right, so now the question is now that you have your YouTube account, you can live stream with YouTube, you're all good. How do you even do it? So how do you go from you have YouTube, now how do I get onto YouTube and stream live? So in YouTube, in your Creator Studio, you have an option. If you go to your video manager, you have an option for live events. And so when you go to a live event, you're going to schedule this event ahead of time. So if you know, like usually on Tuesdays, I always stream at 7, so usually Tuesday afternoon, I will go in and create tonight's show. So you go in there, you put in a title, a description, put in whatever tags you want, save it, and then you now have your live event that is ready to go. Now, in that creation page, there are two main ways that you guys can stream to a YouTube live event. The first one, which is by far the easiest, quickest, simplest, probably best option for most people, is the quick option. So when you go in to set these up, you'll see custom or you'll see quick. Now what quick does is all quick will do is open up a Google Hangout. And if you guys haven't played with Hangouts before, pretty much just a live conversation, almost like a Skype call, almost like a Skype video call. You can bring in multiple people or you can have just you if you want. And in that Google Hangout, when you launch it from a live event on YouTube, you will have an option to start streaming and stop streaming. And it's as easy as clicking that button when you start and clicking the button when you're done, and you will have streamed live to YouTube. Now, the way I do it is I do use a custom setup. So if you guys have a very basic setup, if you're just talking into a microphone, wanting to stream, or if you have guests that you're bringing in, the Google Hangout is definitely the best option. On Thursday nights, that is what Jim Collis and I use for Home Gadget Geeks, because we have two people, and a lot of times we have guests, so we can all hop into that Google Hangout call. Jim hits go live, and then all three of us from all across the world or the country, wherever we're at, can be streamed live into the same video. So Google Hangouts is probably the best way to go. But like I said, I was going to explain to you guys how I stream live and how I get, if you guys notice, if you guys are watching the video now, and if you're listening to the audio, I'm sorry, but if you're watching the video, I do put up some custom lower thirds. So right now you guys can see the phone number to call in on. So that's, again, good time to mention the phone number, 402-915-0790. So if you guys want to call and do that, but I can put up lower thirds. So the way I do it is I choose that custom option. So when you set up the live event, choose the custom. And YouTube will give you a free version of Wirecast. So when you choose the custom option, pretty much what you're telling YouTube is, hey, I have an application on my computer that can get my video to you, and I can stream to you, and it's all good. So when you click the other option, they're going to give you some of the settings that you need to plug into the app, or it'll say, hey, you can use Wirecast for free. So Wirecast is an extremely advanced application that allows you to stream yourself, add in all sorts of lower thirds and custom sets if you want to. It's a really powerful application, and YouTube gives you a free version, which is very limited. But if you want the free version of Wirecast, YouTube will give that to you, and that is for just one camera and one microphone. So if you're just coming in through one mic and you have one camera and you don't want any lower thirds or anything like that, the free version will actually work fine. Now, I was actually lucky enough, Roger over at WLMN Radio sponsored Wirecast for me, so I have the pro version, which is fantastic. That is how I can throw in my intro video. So at the very beginning of the podcast on YouTube, you guys see my intro video. At the end, you see that all my lower thirds. That is because I have the pro version of Wirecast. Now, the pro version is $500, so it's extremely expensive. So it's definitely something that is not necessary for you guys when you're just starting out. If you're just starting out live streaming, I would definitely either do the Google Hangout version or get the free version of Wirecast. But as you guys progress, as you get better, you will want to start using some of those advanced features. So it might be something that you end up investing in your show in the future if it's something that you really want and something that you think you will actually use. So now we've gone through the custom option. I've chosen custom. I say, hey, I have Wirecast. So when I download Wirecast, and I actually was wondering if I could show you guys on the video my screen, and I think I can here. Let me check it out real quick. So again, if you guys are listening to audio, I will try and explain it as best I can. So. All right, so now the people watching on video can see my screen, and that is going to look very weird. It's going to get that really deep, mirrory look because you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. But in Wirecast, the thing I like about Wirecast when you're streaming to YouTube is that it really does a great job of pulling in and knowing where you want to stream to. If you don't use Wirecast, if you use another option for live streaming, you have to pull in a lot of settings from YouTube and type them in manually. But the nice thing about Wirecast is that when you go to output and you choose where you want to stream to, it'll automatically, you sign into your YouTube account and it'll pull in your latest live event. So when I'm using Wirecast right here, I can go ahead and switch through my shots. So I have my different cameras. I can show you my screen, and I have my lower thirds up here. So I can click through these lower thirds and then push it live. So this is a preview. So this is what's going to be coming up next. And this is what actually is sending out live to everyone else. So these two panels right here, this one is I can set it up. So right now, if you guys weren't seeing my screen, you guys would only see this right side. So I can kind of click through and get what I want. Let's say I want the call-in number, and then I click right there, and the call-in lower third is pushed over. So Wirecast is an option for you guys when you want to. I'm going to switch back over to my video. All right, when you guys want to get a little more advanced and you guys want some more custom options, Wirecast is going to be a great option for you, and even the free version of Wirecast. So far what we have is we have YouTube as our content distributor, and that is free. And as we just found out, thanks to PTD in the chat room, you do not need to have 100 subscribers. So you can hop in and start live streaming right away, which is great. So you hop in, YouTube is free. And you can use Google Hangouts to start the broadcast and stop it. That is free. They will give you a free version of Wirecast. That is free. So we can get all the way up to here and stream live for absolutely nothing. Now, again, if you do want the full version of Wirecast, that is $500, but definitely is not something you guys need right away. All right, so now that we have Wirecast and we are streaming, so what happens when we stream to YouTube is that if it almost creates a video like any other YouTube video. So when you guys go to the YouTube page, it just shows up there on the page. Now that is good and that's great, and people can get to you. So it'll give you a link to your video just like any other YouTube video, and you can tweet that out or send it to people and they can go watch you live on YouTube. Now, one thing that I like to do that I think is a little better is to have a page on your website. So usually if you're a podcaster or if you are an organization, a school, a church, I'm sure you guys have your own website that you would like to live stream to. So the great part about using YouTube is that it makes it very easy to embed that video into your website. So for those of you guys right now, and if you're not, you guys can go over to omnpodcast.com/live. That is my live page. So I embed the video in there, and I also have a chat room, which is why I like to bring people outside of YouTube and put it all onto my own page, because as we're learning tonight, the chat room is invaluable to me, to helping me out when I'm doing my show. And plus it adds a little bit of that polish to the show, so it's not a YouTube page. People think it's actually your page. So the great part about YouTube is when they give you that link, you can head over to your website and embed that video in there. And then you guys can control everything around it. You guys can control the look and everything about your live stream. So I would highly suggest that once you get everything set up, I would make a web page like /live or /production /stream, whatever you want it to be. Make a page and embed that video in there. Don't send people to YouTube. I just wouldn't do it. It's not the best. And also the chat feature, like I said, is one of the best aspects of doing a live show. Because really, live streaming, what I learned was I did not have a chat room right away when I was live streaming at the beginning. And then I ended up putting a chat room in a few months later, and that really added a dynamic to the show that I had not experienced before. And what a lot of my listeners said was, now there is an actual reason for me to watch live. So your viewers, if you think about it, if it's going to be available after the fact, what is the draw to them? Why do they want to watch you live? And if you have a chat room where they can ask you questions and they can engage with you and you can engage back with them, or if you have a live call-in feature, whatever it is, that is really what your live viewers want. That is why they are going to watch live. It's for that type of engagement that they cannot get when they are not watching live, when they're listening in post. So that is the whole reason that you guys would want to stream live. Now, like I said, obviously this podcast, most people listen to Open Mic Night after the fact. Most people download it using a podcast app, which is fantastic. I love that, but I've always just wanted the live option. But we do get a lot of fun people in the chat room like we do tonight. And as always, they're always saving me from a disaster on the show, especially with all this audio issues that we're having tonight. So I hope those have been resolved. I hope we're not having as many audio issues as we were at the beginning of the show. All right, so the next feature that I want to talk about with you guys, because a lot of you guys, if you have already started live streaming, some of you, if you guys listen to Ask the Podcast Coach, if I can say that, on Saturday mornings, Jim Collison and Dave Jackson do a fantastic show. If you guys are ever thinking about learning to podcast, Ask the Podcast Coach is a fantastic show to listen to. And that is actually where I get a lot of my information on how to do different things in podcasting. And if you are interested in this live streaming, you're probably interested in podcasting as well. So definitely head over there. But one of the questions that they get all the time is, how do they take call-ins? Because on Ask the Podcast Coach, it's a call-in show. People call in throughout the entire show and ask questions, and they can interact with the hosts and kind of ask them questions about their podcast. So I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents on how I do call-ins. Call-ins, again, is one of those things where you can spend a lot of money on really advanced call-in programs or applications or web services for call-ins, but you can also do it for free if you're willing to give up a little bit of the higher-end features. So when you're looking at having call-ins to the show, obviously the hard part about it is you need some way to queue calls up. And so when people call in, you want them to be able to line up in a queue. So that is what you would pay a call-in studio or a Blog Talk Radio. You would pay them to have that option for a phone number people can call into, and they'll kind of go into a queue and you can click on them and put them through into your show. Now, that would be nice to have, and I will admit I would love that at some point if I was ever willing to spend the money. But for a show like Open Mic Night, we get a few call-ins. I don't really need a queue. And so for me, if I could eliminate the cost of one of those, then that would be great. And if I can do it for free, that is what I want to do. So, of course, I chose the free option for Open Mic Night. So when you guys call in, if you guys do want to call in, again, I'll say the number again, 402-915-0790. You guys can call in at any time, interrupt me with your comments or questions. I would love to hear from you guys. When you guys call in, what is happening is I have a second computer, and I have a Google Voice number. So if you just Google Voice, so go in and search for Google Voice, you can find out that you can have a phone number. Google will give you your own phone number, and you can have that ring to either a phone number, so I can have my Google Voice number when people call it. So that number right there, 402-915-0790, that is a number that I got for free from Google. So that's not a Sprint, Verizon, AT&T. It's not my home phone. It is a number that Google gave me through Google Voice. Now, what you can do is you can have those forwarded to a cell phone, or what I do is you can have it forward to Google Chat, which is now Hangouts. So the nice thing about it forwarding to Hangouts is when you guys call that number right there, I have Hangouts open on this computer right below. So I have two computers, and sometime I'll do a studio tour. I did that on Periscope tonight, but sometimes I'll give you guys a studio tour so you guys can see my entire setup. But I have a second computer down here running, and it has Hangouts open. So when you guys call, I see it pop up in a Hangout, I can answer it, and I pipe the audio all into my mixer, and I pipe audio back out so you guys can hear. And that is one free way to do call-ins. Now, again, there's no queue. So if someone calls and I'm on the line with them and someone else calls in, they won't be able to get into the show and I won't be able to see them. They'll have to wait until that person hangs up and then they'll have to call back in. So there are a few limitations with it. And, you can't put them on hold. So a lot of the higher end features of Call-In Studio or Blog Talk Radio are that when they call in, they're put on hold until you're able to talk to them. Now with Google Hangouts, obviously, once they call, after 10 seconds, then their call will be dropped just like a normal phone call. Think about when you call one of your friends, after a few seconds, you get kicked to their voicemail. Same sort of thing happens with Google Hangouts. But again, it's a free option, so you can't complain. I mean, Google Voice, first of all, I'm going to do an entire episode on Google Voice. But when you are doing this sort of stuff, Google Voice is completely free. And then on your Apple computer, if you just get the Chrome browser and pop up Google Hangouts, it's a little chat in the bottom, then you'll be able to pull in calls for free and pipe it right into your show. So that is how I do the live call-in feature. And I know there have been a few people wanting to know exactly how I do that, so that is that. All right, so just kind of a recap of what we talked about. We have YouTube. We stream live to YouTube, and we either stream with Hangouts, or for your Mac, you get Wirecast, which YouTube will give you for free. And if you go to the Wirecast webpage, I guess I forgot to mention this, you can't just find the free version on the Wirecast page. Once you create a live event, the next little window that pops up from YouTube will have a banner, and it says, hey, get Wirecast for YouTube for free. So you can get that for free. And then you go on, all you do is you open up the app or you open up Google Hangouts and you click stream, and it is as easy as that. You make sure you have, a microphone and a camera, but besides that, it is that simple. So those are free. And then if you want to add in a call-in feature, it gets a little more advanced, but that is also free with the Google Voice number and with using Hangouts on a computer. So you can get your video up and going in high definition to your web page, to whatever you want, to YouTube for free. So you guys can live stream for absolutely, which is just crazy because about a year ago, that was definitely not an option. So YouTube, with their pricing structure and with how high of quality they allow you to stream in, is by far the best option for live streaming. So like I said, free. So you might as well try out live streaming because it's a lot of fun, let me tell you. Let me look over here. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about was when you want to stream audio along with your video. So there are two things I'm just going to cover real quick. I'm going to cover Spreaker, and then I'm going to cover streaming to an M3 U-Link. So Spreaker is a fantastic gathering place for podcasters, radio people, music people, all sorts of people that want to stream live or put their content out there for people to find. And so if you guys head over to Spreaker.com, first of all, if you're just a listener, great place to find new podcasts. And you can listen to people when they're streaming live, or you can listen to their shows after the fact. But it is one of the best platforms for podcasters like me to stream live audio. So as you guys noticed, on the bottom of my live page, so if you guys are watching the YouTube video right now on my website, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's the Spreaker player. And for the exact reason that happened tonight, so if audio or something goes wrong with my YouTube video, people can just scroll down and just listen to the Spreaker link. Or for people that are on mobile devices, if they're maybe traveling in the car and don't have the bandwidth to pull in the video, Spreaker obviously is just audio, so it's a lot easier on the bandwidth so people can listen to Spreaker. Spreaker, again, is very simple. They make it extremely easy. You can actually, for free, you can stream live for, I think, up to 3 hours. No, probably like 45 minutes, I think is what it is. So you can do a limited amount of time, and you can only store a limited amount of data on Spreaker for your free account. But I have the pro plan, so I pay $20 a month to Spreaker, and that allows me to stream live now I'm going to say, I think it's 3 hours, and I can store up to 500 hours worth of content on Spreaker. So I don't have to worry. My entire back catalog of my podcast can be stored on Spreaker. And when you want to stream live to Spreaker, they have a great web player. Now, obviously, as you guys know tonight, that web player crashed in Safari. I'm not sure why that is. But usually, for the most part, it works great and it streams just fine. But that is Spreaker. So check out if you just want to do audio streaming, and that might be what you guys want to start with. If you're a podcaster right now and you want to get into the live, you could always just do something like Spreaker and then put that on your webpage and have a chat room too. So people could just listen to your audio and be in the chat or call in, but you don't necessarily have to be on video. Video can be a little daunting if you've never done it or if you're used to just doing audio. All right, so the final thing that I want to talk about with you guys tonight is the problems that can arise with live and to not stress out, to not go crazy about it. So there are going to be times if you start live streaming that things are going to go wrong. And if you guys watch tonight, I'm actually very glad that some problems happened tonight because it showed you guys what you have to deal with when you do stream live. So really think about before you start streaming live if it's for you. Some people just, recording the audio and posting it in the podcast form and never doing anything with live, that is great, fantastic, and good. So if you are there and you are happy, I would stay there because live will add a whole nother headache to your life. It'll add a lot of benefits and it's a lot of fun and you'll have a chat room and you have people that engage with you on every night in your live stream. But just be sure that it is definitely something you want to do. There have been a lot of people that have been asking me, so when I usually get the question of how do you stream live, then it's, okay, do you think I should? And I'm like, just really think about it. So some problems that can happen. Your audio can go out. You can have your internet for some reason, especially if you live in an apartment complex like I do. If I hit a certain time of the night or if a lot of people are on the internet in our building, my internet can be too slow and it'll be choppy and your people won't get it. Things can go wrong with all sorts of things can go wrong with live streaming. And Jim Collison over on The Average Guy, like I said, so I'm on his show, Home Gadget Geeks, on Thursdays. His typical line whenever anything goes bad is, it's just a podcast. And so I kind of took that to heart because I always used to kind of stress about things. And like you saw at the beginning of this podcast, my wife walked in and she needed something and people were telling me my audio's out. It's just a podcast. And even, when I'm streaming live right now, that people understand. People know that things are going to go wrong. Now, obviously, this would be a lot different if I was doing this for a corporation or for a church, maybe someone that expects a little bit of higher quality. But if you are just live streaming your podcast for your listeners, don't stress about it. Have fun. Use it as a fun thing and use it as a way to really engage with your audience. That's what I love about it. I mean, this chat room, ever since I added it, has been my favorite part of the show. I love everyone that listens to the show, but I really enjoy having people in my chat room live on Tuesday nights. It just makes it a lot of fun, and they help me out, which is a good thing. So just a recap with that is just don't stress about the problems you're going to have. You're going to have problems with live. I have one friend that has been emailing me about live streaming, and he was really interested in Boinks. I'm not sure if he wants me to use his name. I'm sure maybe he'll send me an email if he's listening to this later. But him and I've been helping him out with the live streaming, and he was talking about all the problems that he had. So he was running into problems as well. And so my biggest thing is just don't worry about it. You're going to have problems, but you'll learn. It takes a long time to learn how to live stream. And so now that I'm kind of a year into it, I kind of have my routine, but still things will go wrong. I'll forget to turn things on. I'll forget to hit record. I'll forget to hit go live, or my mixer will be all the way down. Things go crazy. Things go awry. And so the one thing I am noticing right now, though, so as we're talking about problems, is my mixer looks like it is only going on the left channel with this microphone. So I don't know if my cable's bad or what, but that is extremely odd. I've never seen my mixer. It only says things are coming in the left channel. And usually with this microphone, they go to both. So I'm not really sure what's going on. So maybe I should retitle this episode, Problems That Happen When You Do Live Podcasting. Maybe I didn't even teach you guys how to live stream. Maybe I just showed you all the problems that can happen when you do live stream. All right, so that we are going to bring this show in for a landing before anything else can go wrong. So again, it's just a podcast, you never know. But I want to do a quick recap with you guys. So when you guys are looking into live streaming, first of all, you have to choose your content distributor. So YouTube is usually the best to go with. They are free, and you can stream in high def for a long period of time. Fantastic. Then the next thing you have to choose is, do you want to use the Google Hangouts option, which is by far the easiest, simplest, probably best option, or you guys can do the custom option like I do if you want to add in some other features, which means you will need an application like Wirecast on your Mac. Second thing is to just think about the audio equipment you use. So a microphone, a webcam, make sure you have a high quality webcam if you are wanting to do live streaming video. And then for call-ins, think about getting a Google Voice number and using Google Hangouts. It's fantastic, amazingly easy, and free. So I think overall, I gave you guys an option to stream live, stream in high def, stream for as long as you want, take live call-ins, post it to your webpage, and have a chat room. I didn't talk about the chat room I use. Maybe that's an option, another conversation, because there's a lot of different options on chat rooms. But again, it's free. So you can do all those things for absolutely zero. So maybe if you're thinking about, if you're the head IT guy at a church, or if you are the head IT guy anywhere and you're thinking, man, a live broadcast, maybe a weekly live sit down with our pastor would be an engaging thing for our community, try it out because it's free. And most people, you can usually track down a webcam and a microphone from someone in your community. Usually someone will let you borrow it. I know that if anyone ever wanted to borrow my setup to live stream, actually, I think we're going to be doing it with some people at my law school this weekend. If anyone wants to borrow my setup, I'm more than happy to help people out to get into live streaming. So if it's something you want to get into, if you have ever considered it, be ready for the problems, but really do try it out because it is completely free. And awesome. You can end up spending a lot of money on live streaming, but it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very easy and cheap. One more reminder about that survey. So again, if you guys could head on over to omnpodcast.com/survey, it's a quick, not even probably 2 minutes, probably a 30-second survey, but it's really going to help me out. It's for you guys to kind of tell me what you guys think about the show, and I'm thinking about making a few tiny little changes, and I just want to know what you guys think about the show right now. So if you can head over to omnpodcast.com/survey, that'll take you right there. It'll take a few seconds, and that would be amazing. I would love it. iTunes review is omnpodcast.com/iTunes, and you can leave a review there. Huge thank you to everyone over at WLMN Radio for streaming me and for all the support they give me. If you guys are looking for tech talk, music, or any other great content, head on over to WLMNradio.com. And a big thank you to all the listeners out there and anyone listening in Grafton, West Virginia. Welcome and thank you for listening. Again, if you guys are on Amazon, if you ever make purchases on Amazon and you want to support the open mic night with no extra cost to you, if you just head to omnpodcast.com/Amazon, it'll take you to Amazon, and at no cost to you, I just get a tiny little percent of whatever you buy, and it goes into the Uyghur Tech Scholarship Fund. Really helps us out, no cost to you. So if you ever buy anything on Amazon, omnpodcast.com/Amazon. Just bookmark it. If you just put it up in the bookmarks as your link to Amazon, whenever you click on it, it'll take you to Amazon, and then I will just get a tiny little cut of whatever you do. Again, doesn't cost you anything. Just another way for you guys to help the show for free, which is awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you for sticking around despite all of the audio issues we had and the disruptions and kind of just all of that. Thank you guys for sticking around. You guys are the best listeners. I hope to see you guys again next week. But until I do, tech on.